So Jeffet, it's such a pleasure to be here with you today, and Frank gave such a beautiful introduction to you and speaks so highly of your work. So I just wanted to start, first of all, with your origin story as a person of Moluccan descent who lives in Holland. And you've referenced your grandfather a lot as an inspiration. So I guess that's a good place to start.
So my origin story. My mom is Dutch. My dad is from Moluccan descent. My grandfather. Yeah, so it's my grandfather from my mom's side, who is from I asked my mom like what time or what age did I start drawing, and she said around 4 or 5. Basically the moment I could pick up a pen. He's my Dutch grandfather, and he's a painter. He was a photographer who had his work all over the world. He had his drawings in museums, and he was just such a big inspiration, because everything that I asked him, he could draw, like without any reference. He just instantly draw. So from a very young age, I was very inspired to do that too, and it really gave me a lot of peace of mind, and not always, because I'm very, very, very perfectionistic. Kind of luckily let that go, but he really helped me ignite that creative spark that I feel I've had in me already. So yeah, that's really, my grandfather has been the biggest catalyst in my inspiration, really.
What's made you I guess an artist that has so many incredible references to his art, including spirituality, shamanism, amongst other things. So I ask whether your heritage, your Moluccan heritage, plays into that in some way, or
it does, because in a sense, not one-on-one, because growing up half, it's really funny, because you're not Dutch enough. I don't look Dutch at all, so I'm not Dutch. But I don't look full-blood Moluccan either, so I'm not really Moluccan. I mean, I do like the community, and I do feel like I'm Moluccan, but in terms of the influence, it really helped, because I'm open to the whole different, I said, the different look upon the world than the Western view. A lot of folklore legends, but it really helped me open up to look at the world differently, and I feel that's the Moluccan side that really is calling to look outside myself, outside of the Western way of thinking. So that really inspired me in that sense, definitely.
Yeah, that's amazing. And Moluccans are, warriors, but also warriors in exile. So has that, it's kind of ironic that with NFTs, without NFTs, there are no borders, right?
No, that's one of the things that I really like about NFTs. The community is worldwide. I think every artist is struggling with it, with being alone in a room, just drawing and connecting with people.
Okay.
So it's really hard to find your tribe. And in NFTs, since the whole community is so diverse, and you can connect, obviously through the internet, connect with other artists, and you can find that tribe. As an artist, you're always like working by yourself, and it's hard to connect. And with this whole NFT community, you kind of found, you find your tribe within artists who are struggling, who are going through the same things, same motions as you every day. So you really find that it doesn't matter like where you come from.
Yeah.
Everybody is really equal, and you really see that everybody's going through the same motions of marketing, and then having to make these sales, and trying to find your voice, and trying to find creativity, and then, so that's what I really like about the community, and like a family sense of feeling, which I will also have within the Moluccan community, who everybody older, you have to call them an uncle and an aunt, and everybody is related in some way, either through blood or through yeah, just being Moluccan really.
Mm-hmm. When did you start jumping into the NFT community? And you're obviously helping to kind of mentor other NFT artists and help them do all the things you just mentioned, the marketing, the artwork, you know, finding and talking to their collector base and all of that. So how you know, how did this start for you?
So I'm someone that just walks into walls like this, and from a young age I would walk into everything because I don't look, I just keep on walking. My mom said I would walk into chairs thinking they would move for me, but they obviously won't, because you know. And it's the same way how I entered the NFT space. A friend just messaged me and said, yo dude, you have to look into these NFTs, go on Wearable, do this, do that. And I was like, okay. And I went on there and I spent a whole lot of gas money on making a whole lot of mistakes. I think it was February, March, when I started looking into it. I didn't know anything about it, just winged it. And yeah, that's where I started. And then went to Clubhouse, started to come up, and yeah, went into Clubhouse and listened to a lot of people and tried to speak up, which was really hard because you feel quite anxious about speaking, you know. Especially I find it really hard to speak about my art. I don't mind selling someone else's art, but you know, selling my own art's really hard. So it was everything in one go. Like in a matter of weeks, I had to find my voice. I had to find my voice as an artist. Like, what do I want to, you know, put out in the world as an NFT? What even is an NFT? What is crypto? How do I even set up a wallet? And I mean, I got through all that, yeah, through trial and error.
Mm-hmm.
All through a friend who was also an artist, a tattoo artist, a good friend, also into NFTs, and he just goes in and out. I kind of stayed and yeah, started community building, and I really like to connect with people one-on-one. In the big rooms, it's kind of hard, but you kind of connect with certain people every now and then.
Mm-hmm.
And most of those people, they stayed, and some I speak to every day through WhatsApp or Telegram or whatever, on Instagram. It's a real core group of people that I speak to every day, from yeah, some from the very first days on Clubhouse. And yeah, that's really enriching your life, really. Well, my life.
Yeah, that's amazing. And are they mostly artists, Jachet?
Yeah, most of them are, definitely. Yeah, I want to say, yeah, I want to say one or two are curators or like devs or something like that, but most of them are artists. Yeah, on Clubhouse. That's how I got on Clubhouse. So first I started in an artist room, just about artists and how to, like, every day the same question was how to get over a block, creative block, which was quite funny. And then from that room, I think everybody ventured out into the NFTs, which kind of started in March, where everybody that was on Clubhouse who was an artist kind of, yeah, all went to that side of the spectrum, really.
Wow, so it's been an incredible 8 months since that.
Yeah, I feel like it's really weird because for me sometimes a week, and I know it's 7 days, it just feels like months or a few weeks, and it just a week just passed because so many things happen. I mean, there are days that I've been on Clubhouse for, I started a room at, I don't know, afternoon, and I ended like late at night. Normally you don't speak to people like over 100 people or more than 100 people a day. You don't hear that many voices a day. So your whole internal clock just swifts, and because it moves so quick, and then I'm a night person, so I draw at night. It's just a whole, like almost a whole shift in life, like in what you, well, definitely in what I used to do, but a whole shift in how you perceive time, especially in this space. It's like a day could be 3-4 days, or a week could be a month, and that's how it feels. And then when I speak to someone who isn't in the space and they talk about something that happened yesterday, I'm like, was it yesterday? It feels like 3 days ago. It's really yesterday, and that's how it feels. It's so weird.
Right.
I once called it the NFT time, like 9 p.m. NFT instead of you know, CET or you know, like Australian time zone, but it's the NFT time zone, which every one of us live in, because there's like it's for me, it's we started like what 1 a.m. So for me, it's like I feel, you know, it's not night for me right now. So yeah, that's the NFT time zone.
I love that 9 p.m. and I'm going to borrow that.
Yeah, because it feels like that.
That's so cool. And what, you know, in that process of kind of working through artistic blocks within this community, and, you know, what's the kindest thing or the most significant thing that anyone's ever done for you?
In terms of creative block?
No, in terms of, you know, your community that you found, you know, on Clubhouse or any of the other channels that you reside on.
Just the fact that you connect with people on a level where you feel you can share everything, and be yourself. For me, the biggest compliment you can get and give someone is being yourself completely. The moment you can take off your mask and be yourself, that's the biggest compliment you can give and get. And I feel I got that off a lot of people. And just the people that I really connect with, that I really support, but I get the same support back. It's priceless. It's really priceless, because it doesn't really happen that much in the real physical world, where a lot of people are wearing a mask, or they don't think about, oh, if I help him or her, they can flourish and they can help me too. Or, you know, there's always something almost in the physical world where, you know, if I do this, you have to do this for me. And so many people, I don't have one thing that I can think of like, oh, that's the best thing that ever happened to me, but it's a lot of the same, just a whole support system that you kind of have. Yeah, people just out of the blue message like, how are you? And yeah, that's something that's really valuable for me.
Yeah, that's really amazing. It's almost like everyone becoming a better version of themselves.
Yeah, well, it is. Yeah, it's a knife that has both. You know, it's both sides, because at one when you're on Clubhouse or on Twitter Spaces, you can hear someone, and they can be anyone who they want to be. You can become a picture, or you can become an image, a drawing, and you can portray whoever you want to be. But the good thing about hearing people is that you can kind of weed out the good from the bad. And I'm very fortunate that I've connected with so many people in such a short time, that I'm very, 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 very grateful for so many people that took off that mask and really connected with me, which I think is the best thing that happened in the last few months.
That's amazing.
Would you say my work has layers of truth?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's really weird. My whole process of how I come up with these artworks is quite weird, because there are a few processes, but mostly like I come up with an idea in a meditation. I write it down. I've got a book next to where I meditate, where I write down my ideas, and I visualize it, start drawing, and something completely different comes out of it. I don't really plan it. And I always say, and I've repeated it, I don't know how many times in rooms or like everywhere, is you create from the heart. And when you create from the heart, I mean, what you say, yeah, the question actually is true. Yeah. There's a lot of truth in there, because you create from your heart. And when you create or speak or do anything from your heart, it has to be true. Because there's no, like, the moment you go into your mind, that's when the creative block comes, because you start thinking about, what am I doing? And so there's a lot of truth in there, but it's not like, almost nothing that I do is intentionally. There are so many things that I draw and then showed to people, and they were like, oh, did you know that this and this means that? And I'm like, no, it just came to me. And those are the things that are really interesting to me, because then I feel like I'm connected to something that is influencing me from up or somewhere around me, which is but definitely there's a lot of truth in there, but not intentionally. not that I think, oh, I have to be truthful what I draw, but it just comes. And yeah, like I said, if you create fun art, it has to be true.
Thank you. And you talked about that flow state and creating in the flow state. So is that something that meditation is kind of the key to unlocking that? Or do you feel that the longer you reside in the NFT space, your confidence is building so you can just kind of tap into that?
I'm someone that I should be very confident in a lot of places in my life, but I'm not. There's always, because I'm, like I said, I'm very perfectionistic. I see the tiniest thing in the tiniest thing. I could meet someone and say, "Oh, did you know you have like small spots in your eyes?" And they never, no one told them. I'm like, how can no one ever tell you that you're like dirty or something? And no one told you you have spots in your eyes. And that's what I see. So that's what I see in my own work. That's what I see everywhere. So like even the thing that someone would say is the best work, I see that one little line that isn't. I haven't really been meditating for that many years. So before this, it was just drawing, and I would overthink and then go back to the drawing. But lately, the ideas come from my meditation, but the flow, I can't explain it. It's just something that I just sit down and it comes. Yesterday, I was completely blocked talking about what we're doing here. I have this entire thing in my mind how I wanted to do it. I just couldn't see it. And then come back at my process. So my process is that when I don't see it that day, I really can't do anything. Like I really want to sit down, but I can't do anything. And then today I woke up and just went and almost finished it. And yesterday I didn't do anything. All I could think of was like, how do I need to, like, I see it, I know what I want, I've written it down, but nothing was there. And there's no system to it for me. I wish there was, because then I knew, okay, I have to do this and this. But it's one day I meditate, I sit down, write it down, it comes. Other day I don't have to meditate, I just sit down and it comes. Another day I meditate, sit down, and then I can't create for a few days, and then the next day I do a few days work in one day, which is, yeah. So there's no real system to it. It's just, yeah, when it flows, and when it doesn't, I'm not the nicest person to be around, to be honest.
So you get anxious if you can't kind of make it happen.
It's not anxiousness, but it's I would say that it's when you kind of punish yourself, like, oh, you're not doing anything, but it's all part of the process. And I know that now, so it's less being angry at yourself or disappointed, because I know now that this is part of my process. So that's where I grew a lot. But back in the day, I would just walk around with, like, I don't know how you call it, like heaviness on my backpack, and just, oh, I can't draw now. And that part kind of fell away. I know it's part of my process now. But yeah, those days I'm not, it's still a little bit in the back of my mind, like, oh, you should draw. But yeah, I know it's part of my process. And a lot of people, a lot of creatives go through this. That's what I learned from Clubhouse by connecting with so many artists.
Brilliant. And your work also encompasses music and animation. So how does that process work? Excuse me. Do you work with other artists to create music, or is that you?
The music in a few of the NFTs, I think there's 2 online now. A friend of mine has a studio. He is a DJ, and I used to DJ too. We kind of just sit down and I vocalize what I really want, because I've learned how to make music on these programs, but it's been so long. And he's real quick with it. I just say, okay, I want this, and he does it. And the videos, I draw a still first, and all the stills they are made out of different components, which I try to move them around and stuff like that. And since I'm completely self-taught, it's a really weird process. I think if someone that learned from it would look at it, and say like, how do you, like, why would you do it like this? But it works for me. That's the whole reason why I also really can't. I find it really hard to follow a course because I've learned everything myself, and the moment I I try to do something according to a course, I kind of, it's like, why would anyone go all this way around when you can do it like this? And for someone else, it would probably be 2 clicks, but for me, it just looks like, why would you go all the way around? Um, so yeah, that's how I do the videos, which is quite a long process, but it works for me. And in terms of the music, I first make the drawing, and then the inspiration for what are we, or what am I going to do, um, as an audio behind it,
Hmm.
comes when we look at the drawing or at the animation.
That's super cool. And do you think that being an NFT artist has kind of given you that freedom over your, what you create in a way that you couldn't have had in any other kind of medium as an artist?
I think in the beginning, and I think a lot of artists do this. In the beginning,
Mhm.
you look at, okay, what's working. You see a lot of 3D, you see a lot of animations. You think, oh, I have to do that too. And the moment you follow trends or you follow what works, you kind of not creating from your heart, you kind of really creating from the mind. And I don't think you, it might work for someone for maybe 9 out of 10, or I don't know how many, but it would work for some people, but it doesn't really work for me because, and I see that also around me, where people create what they think. They will create a punk, or they will create an ape, hoping that it will do really well,
Right.
because that's what they see. And then when it doesn't, they kind of, they get like, yeah, get bummed, and they don't feel, maybe they get depressed. Um, and I always try to say, like, just create what you like, and then eventually someone will pick it up, because this is, yeah, something that comes from your heart. What you really like will resonate with someone else. So when I started, I kind of did the same. I looked around. I didn't create something for the NFT space, but I did look around. Okay, what did work, or what does work for that person? Maybe that will work for me. And I started overthinking, and it really didn't help me. It really didn't
Right.
help me in my process. So basically, everything that I do is just what I like. If someone else would like it, I would be really happy if someone would like it. But everything that I draw, is because I like it, because I wanted to draw it at that moment. But not really with an NFT in the back of my mind. I've been a digital artist for as long as I almost can remember. So yeah, that digital space, digital, being a digital artist, creating digitally, has been quite normal for me. So there isn't really, maybe the dimensions that I use or kind of changed for the NFT space. Other than that, I really didn't change as much. Not as much, no.
Cool. And you have given us some really, really interesting kind of narrative details about two works that you created. I don't know how recently, but one, Madre Vasca. Can you tell us about that?
So Madre Ayahuasca is something that, so the way that I draw, I've looked at other visionary artists that create art according to plant medicines,
Mhm.
mushrooms or ayahuasca, or yeah, any other psychedelics, and I haven't really seen anything like really plant medicine in my style, which is quite factory. And I've always wanted to do it, um, but it's really out of my comfort zone, and you know, come out of your being out of your comfort zone is quite hard sometimes. Um, so I've had a ceremony sitting with my with ayahuasca. Um, Started on a drawing where I wanted to draw the Mother Earth, really. So I started sketching a face of an old lady, and it was the week after I did ayahuasca, and it just started to evolve into something that I was like, oh, I can really make this into what I've always wanted to do, like create a real, like a visionary artwork inspired by plant medicines. And the longer I was drawing it, the more I could create what I really wanted and what I envisioned and what I've seen in these ceremonies, which were the snake realm, the jaguar, and the eagle. which the snake realm stands for the subconsciousness. The jaguar stands for the consciousness, and the eagle for the higher consciousness. And I wanted to portray that, and I think I did a really good job because it's one of my favorite drawings. And I really felt that during this process of creating, again, I didn't start with this drawing. I didn't start thinking, oh, I want to do this. It just came to me. I really felt I was guided into creating this. And it's something that I actually tried to for almost this entire year to create something like this. And then eventually it just came to me. It took me 3 weeks, really, almost every day till quite late. And yeah, like I said, I didn't plan it at all. It just started with drawing an old lady where I wanted to create her as Mother Earth, so I wanted to make her hair like a plant, and then I started drawing. Yeah, when I finished the lady and the leaves, I thought, oh, I can really create almost a totem. Yeah, and I really felt I was guided into drawing this.
That's amazing.
I just so nice, Javed. And hi, this is Frank. You know, I don't know if you caught my first part, but it's very nice to listen. And I know that work where you talk about, and actually, it is so detailed and it is so technical. What I find though with that work is that maybe the speed of digital art and the way it's being projected on smaller files and OpenSea or in small pictures on handphones, or it's just not bringing out the detail and the really the quality of the work. And here, if you have this on a big screen in the gallery, I think then it will completely do the work so much more just. So and I think, and I hope that soon we will see galleries, and soon we see more digital screens. And I think it's especially this kind of art that you are creating that will get much more attention. Because again, the level of detail, the level of, I can see that you worked 3-4 weeks on this work alone. But you know, if I see it on a small screen, I see a dark face, a little bit of darker colored kind of an image that does not really, again, get the attention on the fast pace that we work, where we take in images. And yeah, I really think, and I really hope that in the future we will see more of this kind of larger screens. And I really feel that that's where we can celebrate these kind of amazing works.
Yeah, I really think that you're right. I mean, I do create as a digital artist. You create for screens, and I've always have screens in my mind. But when I finished that one, I knew that it would take a while before people actually like look. Yeah, really have to look into it. You really have to because like you say, it's quite dark. But when you blow it up, or print it out and blow it up, you can really see the details and see it kind of how I intended it to be. Even though on the screen you can see it too, but if to really look into it, you have to zoom in. But it's also because I kind of draw with my nose to the screen. It's really stupid because I would draw eyes so detailed, and then it becomes a really small eye in the actual drawing, so people don't even see it, and they'll probably never see it because, yeah, when it's digital or a print, if someone prints it as a flyer, you will never see the eye that detailed. So there's something there where I could speed up my process, but for some reason it just doesn't feel right if I don't do it that way.
Yeah, I could see this at the back of a concert or so, or the big, huge screen at the concert or an event, or because it is so detailed and yeah, even the jaguars, the black jaguars that are in it, you know, you really have to enlarge it to really see it, right? So yeah, so it's an amazing piece actually, and I think one day it will just be picked up for the right purpose by the right collector. So amazing quality, Jeff.
Thank you very much. Yeah, I would really love to see it really big on the screen, because I know the way I draw, and I think a lot of artists know, like when you draw like a vector, or yeah, you can blow it up and plaster a wall with it, and the quality will be the same. So I would really love to see it on a big screen.
I was going to ask you, Defet, Wishes in the Shadow of Sun, which is another seminal work for you.
So yeah, it's something that I have unknown origin. It's again, it's the same as what Frank just said. It would probably take a while for someone to pick it up, because again, you have to zoom in to see the detail and the amount of work I put in. This is a drawing of a lion. I wrote a whole poem for it. The backstory is that it's a young lion cub, young male lion, wishing upon the stars for the sun to come back, to bring back light and life into its life or his life. But yeah, the animals that I draw them hair by hair, and yeah, I kind of get lost into drawing the hairs by hair by hair by hair, and it's a very long process. It's something I started this drawing a few years ago, and I only just finished it, animated it this year. I think I started it in 2016 or something. And when I finished it, I always finish with eyes, because I kind of feel that an eye brings a soul to the drawing. And when I finished that eye, and I'm really proud about it, when I finished it, I actually got quite emotional, because it was like the first time ever. Even though other people would look at my work and say, "Oh, it's amazing," this drawing was the first time ever I was really happy about. And also, yeah, for years, from a very young age, my granddad died when I was 9 or 10. I want to say 10. And he could draw a line, and I never could. I mean, I could, but not in a way that he could, like not in a way that I could be happy about it. And this was the first time I actually finished a line drawing and be really happy about it. And the whole backstory and the whole poem with it. Yeah, I kind of think that I've really minted, or I said uploaded a complete piece with a story, with the poem, with some audio to it, and the animation itself. I hope it adds to the drawing, but the drawing itself to me is a really special one.
Another poem, the music, are all of those elements part of the NFT?
I'm not sure if I added music to that one. I think I did. I'm pretty sure, because I minted it a while back, and then because this space moved so quick and it didn't got picked up at first, so I started focusing on other work. But I want to go back to that work eventually. But it's all part of it. There's a still, the original still, the the original video is added to it. I have to really look back at what I added to it. It's been only like maybe 2 months, but for me it feels like ages ago. But the drawing itself to me is it's really special, and the poem itself also. I used to write so many lyrics and poems, and I always did it when I was in a very emotional, fragile state. I started writing everything away from me, and I kind of I hope the people. I know people resonated with it, but just hope that eventually someone would, again, like what Frank said, someone that really values the piece picks it up and looks at it in a way that I would look at it, with the same, maybe not emotional, but the same value as I give it.
Yeah, absolutely. And you've referenced other artists that speak to you. One of them is Luis Tamani. Can you?
Yeah, that's my first NFT still. There's a whole backstory to that. So in the whole backstory, but I'll just go real quick. I made the decision to do ayahuasca, and I looked for the right place for over 10 years. Found the right place, and the day before I called them to make a appointment. I got a documentary. I watched a documentary called the Song That Calls You Home. Like genuinely one of the best documentaries I've ever seen. It just really touches you. And I watched it and it was touched, and it really, made me, well, it didn't make me, made me make this decision to do ayahuasca, but it really helped because it gave me a little bit more of a peace of mind, really. Anyway, so fast forward, the month of before ayahuasca, I started doing the dieta, the diet. So and I have to be less on my computer and less on my phone. But I just was in the NFT space, and I have to be online everywhere, all day, every day, and I was quite worried about it. So the first day of the diet, I was in a room, and I was like, oh, maybe I should go off the room. And then it was a very big room, and eventually everybody on stage who spoke were visionary artists and had a link with ayahuasca. So I was like, okay, it's a little bit of a sign. The next day, I saw Luis Tamani's work on Instagram, and I was like, why? I know this artist, it must be so, he only got like 50 likes. He's one of the biggest artists that because I recognize the work.
Mm-hmm.
So I thought maybe it's a fake artist. So I texted him saying, "Is this really you?" And he just started doing NFTs. So I kind of started speaking with him, but he didn't speak English, and I don't speak French or Spanish. So there was a language barrier. And then I kind of took I got in touch with his assistant or someone who onboarded him, and I took it upon myself to promote his work. And I would say this is the first sale I made. The work that he made was a big portion of it also went to the Amazon. And to me, it was just a big sign that, okay, from ayahuasca saying, it's all right that you go online, but do it with intention. And I think the initial price was 0.3, and we sold it for 3. Just going in rooms, and it was really easy and a good way of me learning about how do I promote, but it was promoting someone else, and it was really easy, just hopping into rooms and just genuinely speaking about someone else's work. And I always say that's my first sale, because I really was a big part of it. And very grateful to have met him and spoken to him. He did a room with us where he did an AMA. I really love his work, but just the way he speaks about being inspired. And a lot of people ask, like, do you need psychedelics or anything to draw like this? And he said, no, just go outside, and you'll be touched. And that's he said it way better than I say it, but the way he said it just really touched me, and I understood, and a lot of people understood that. You don't need anything. You don't need anything from outside, or everything is within already. So you don't need ayahuasca, or you don't need mushrooms, or everything is inside. And the way he speaks, and that's the biggest way he inspired me, is just by explaining that. And he is really touched. Just really grateful that I've met him online.
That's amazing. I think his work is
it's really good.
Yeah. And where do you see yourself going in the space? Like, if you could fast forward, whatever that looks like, whether it's 2 months, 2 years.
Where do I see myself? So I always explained NFTs, like when people say, what are NFTs? I always say it's a form in where you sell art, but for me it's freedom. So where do I see myself is just being free, and to me that means that free in a sense of free in whatever I can create. People resonate with what I make, and just having a lot of genuine connections, but also with collectors, which is quite hard, because not every collector really wants that connection, but I'm someone that is really about that one-on-one connection. Freedom. Just being able to create without having to think about, I have to sell this, or just knowing that it will just go, it will flow, and Because there's a lot of FOMO, a lot of stress in this space, which I really notice when I open rooms. Because I'm someone that kind of picks up on other people's energies. So when there's a lot of people that come in the room that really need, oh, I need to sell and I really want to tell my story, and you feel that anxiousness. So I want to be able to don't have those same feelings, just being free of that, being free of the FOMO of, oh, I need to sell. So where do I want to be? I want to be in a place where I can have the freedom, the peace of mind of, because freedom for me is one that goes hand in hand with being creative. Because if you're creative, you're free, and if you're free, and then I go back into creating from the heart. You're free of everything that comes into from the outside. You can just create. So that's the place where I want to be as an artist in the NFT space, in life, really. And yeah, my life hasn't been like that ever. So that's the main goal. Yeah.
Do you think the FOMO aspect that is kind of non-art? Do you think that's the business side of NFTs that's disconnected from the art process?
I think it's also the crypto space that people don't really understand. Something that I'm still learning and I have to learn. People don't understand that there's this whole cycle that I've just learned about it. When Bitcoin goes up, then Ethereum follows. When Ethereum goes up, NFTs go down. The sales of NFT goes down because people either take out the money to move it into the coins, or the gas fees or whatever just goes up too much. Now there's obviously different coins you can go into, but this whole cycle of Bitcoin goes up, Ethereum goes up, then the altcoins follow, and then NFTs follow. And yeah, it's something that I've noticed for a while, that so many people are so focused on making that sale or having to sell out, or even the big projects. They're like, oh, I need to sell it instantly, but why? It's just something that we in a few months kind of made a idea that when you have a big project, you have to sell out instantly, but that doesn't happen in real life. Like, no, iPhone comes out, it doesn't really sell out instantly everywhere around the world. Like, it just has, it takes time. And a lot of people also don't understand that the moment you enter this space, you are your own bank, you own your own company, you are your own marketing agency, you are your own everything. So people, and that's how I enter the space, is, when people just sold for I don't know how many million, I would, oh, it's a magical place, I'll just put something online and people will see it. Doesn't work like that. You have to be on Twitter, you have to be everywhere. And that's something, and that's one of the emotions I have to go through, is where I'm very active on everywhere, and then it hits me where it doesn't really enrich my life to be so active everywhere. I need to find that balance. And I think a lot of people go through those motions, and like I said, they don't really understand, me neither, but who does really, like the cycle of crypto, and how it goes with Bitcoin goes up, then the NFTs go down, and then it will eventually go back into the NFTs again, or you have to venture into other coins. But yeah, that's definitely something that, I mean, I have, but everybody has it. But the FOMO, how we say that, it's a lot, because a lot of artists are struggling in terms of financially. So I kind of get where that comes from. When you don't have that financial, I say that, something to fall back on, you have to sell because you put so much time in it. And I understand, I come from the same place, but it doesn't help to be in that space of I need to, because then you become that person that just goes in a room and say, oh, I've got this and I just dropped it and please have a look, and just goes out again. But I really think that the moment you make those genuine connections, and that's something you can work on during that down space. And it's just something that we all have to learn. I still have to learn it too, because I go through the same motions of up and down and oh the space and I sold last week, but why don't I sell now? Or it's just something you have to learn really.
Yeah,
And
yeah, sorry to come in and just to respond on what you say, because you all do the journey alone, and all the you say you treat yourself. You have to be like a kind of a company covering all the sites. But don't you think that a kind of curation, that a kind of partnership, or a kind of you can't cover all the areas, right? So obviously, with our the MetaArt Club, we try to also together with the artists celebrate their art, but also help on the curation and find a bigger platform altogether, right?
yeah.
But how do you look to the fact of curation? Because we always, of course, we talk about decentralized land and activities and art. So how do you look into that? Because I just feel there's a lot of pressure on you by covering this all. So I'm very keen to understand that from you, how you look to that.
The creation part, I think especially with so many people coming in, I think it's a good thing. At the same time, when somebody feels, or when somebody is in somewhere, some people will feel left out. That's how it goes. But I really think it's a good thing, and I think everything that you want to do with this project is so admirable. And as an artist, having that support of someone or of a company is new for me. I mean, I've met a few people, and you're amongst them, that are so supportive to artists, and it's I don't think anywhere. I mean, I haven't seen it in the physical world where people are really that supportive on artists. So I really think that the curation part is high quality. So creation has to be a part of it, especially with so many things happening in this space where people copy or so. Yeah, I really think that creation it has to be a part of it. I don't know if I answered your question, if I got your question right, Frank.
No, you do, and because sometimes, of course, we talk about decentralized work, and some artists in the space say, I like to do it on my own, and this is my free time. But sometimes, I feel there's so much creativity. There's so many artists, so it's not easy to be noticed. And from the other side, I see collectors, who come to us and say, I just don't know where to start. There's so much. I'm confused, right? So I see that as one of the, as some of the challenges that we have to find ways to link those parts.
Yeah, I think that's something really interesting that you say. I mean, we spoke. I met someone, or I found an artist on Twitter. I was like, "Oh, this quality is so good," and I told Frank, or I told you, sorry, and you said the same, and I think that goes because the way I think, the way I feel about artists, and when I say that someone is good, you believe that, or because you know me, you trust me, and I really think that sense of creation. So not the sense of because this is something I really see a lot, is where curation also goes like, okay, where can I make the most money off? But in terms of curation, when it comes of NFT artists, there are so many artists, but you don't know the backstory, or you don't know if the art is actually their art. So I really think that sense of creating an artist pool of artists who are genuinely in this space for the long term, who they say they are, and creating quality work, I think it's a really good thing, especially with so many collectors are coming in every day. There are more and more coming in. Like now the artist pool is really big and the collectors pool is really small, but it will eventually go the other way too, where there's a lot of collectors and a lot of artists. And then it's a really good thing to have a platform where, as a collector, I mean, I've collected quite some art pieces too, and it's a really good thing that when if you are looking in a certain pool, or when you're looking at a certain group that that they're good artists. And I think it's something really, really, really good and needed in this space that what you're doing.
Yeah, thanks. Thanks for sharing.
Javed, to build on that conversation with Frank just now, do you think in your mind you have your opus, like your, a piece that you've been thinking about for a long time but haven't actually made yet? And what would that look like? I mean, how would that look?
I think the ayahuasca one was something that in my mind I really wanted because it was really out of my comfort zone. But like I said, my process is so weird where it just comes and I just start creating. And I noticed back in the day, there were so many things that I really wanted and then couldn't put it on paper or on the screen. And that put me in that downward spiral of being in a creative block. And that's the freedom that NFTs gave me, because I can create what I want and I don't have to create what I really, really, really want. I just can create whatever comes. Then I have to kind of touch back on what we talked about earlier. It's when you create something that you really want or just comes and you're really happy with it and it doesn't sell. And then there's the FOMO or some artists get really depressed or feel that they're not valued enough. But in terms of, is there something that I really want to create and how it would look like? I don't know yet. I really feel, and this is something that I've been creating. This is something, Frank, you have to listen to this. So I've been creating these artworks for this project, and I felt like, oh, this is so good. I want to keep it for myself, and it's not something that it's not something that I had in mind to create, but it's something that if I had it in my mind, this is what it would be, and it's really something. I looked at it, I was like, yeah, it's something I want to keep for myself because it's so good. I think it's really good. I was really happy with it when I finished it, and so yeah, I think every next artwork that I make is the one that I really want to make. I think that's the answer for that. It's a really long-winded answer, but that's the answer. Yeah.
And can you tell us a little bit about your works, quickly?
Okay, so I've got actually three. There is one. It's a little bit like the ayahuasca, but all my styles kind of combined. So the ayahuasca plant medicine style with the more psychedelic and colorful style. It's a woman standing in the middle, a pregnant woman, a tree above her, and the roots, or is it the vine? Is that the same word? Roots, vine, are of the tree of her head are going over her face, going in her body, into the umbilical cord of the baby, and it is the baby. Obviously, birth is a new beginning, and it was also for me the transference of the wisdom of the mother to the child, and the wisdom tree or the tree of life, the connection with everything. Yeah, that was actually the backstory behind it. It's something that I also didn't plan to create. It's just I started with drawing a woman, and I was like, oh, she looks pregnant, and then I started developing it. A piece that I really like, and I'm in the process of animating it. The other one is inspired by the Michelangelo painting of the creation of Adam. It's an astronaut touched by a shroom, really. Basically, the creation of Adam is when man was created, and the new beginning, in my mind, is an astronaut being touched by, another being, or some psychedelics. And for a lot of people, psychedelics are that window into a new beginning. For a lot of people, that is the marker of where a lot of things changed, where they went through a lot of stuff in their journey, and they can figure out or work through a lot of their previous pains. And the other one is a tunnel with light in the end of the tunnel, and also a lot of backstory where certain psychedelics bring you into a tunnel before you enter another realm. But it's the same when you die. You go through a tunnel and there's light in the end of the tunnel. But that is also a new beginning. Life, a lot of people say when birth, the end of the tunnel, birth is also a new beginning. So yeah, those are really the inspirations that I had about it. And then still working on the last piece and animating the first.
Wow, that's really, really incredible. Thank you. And can't wait to see your work. Can't wait to showcase them to our audience at the MetaArt Club. We're really, really, really excited to be working with you.
Yeah, same. It's really really grateful for Frank to think of me. And when I got the date, it's like, oh, I have to create like something like the ayahuasca piece cost me 3 weeks every day till late, hardly any sleep to finish. And I was like, oh, I have to create something like that in, what was it, 2 weeks or so? But yeah, I was so inspired by this idea, and I think I told Frank too. I was meditating. I wrote down so many ideas, and visualizing it was really, yesterday I was so stuck, and then today it just went, and yeah, I'm really, really happy. The idea, the theme is so good and really inspiring. So yeah, I'm really happy and really excited about all of this.
We are super happy to have you on board, and I really can't wait to see your work. Honestly, Javed, beautiful.
Yeah, I can't wait to show you. But I'll show when it's really, really finished, and I'm really happy with it. Really.
Yeah, please send. There are some potential cooperating parties that that are talking to us. So obviously, when we have some good work to show, of course, still in a small circle, would love to do so. So yes, please send it in case you feel 100% ready with a certain art.
I finished because I draw elements. So I first draw, for instance, today I draw the astronaut, and I finished the astronaut. I was like, yeah, I want to keep this to myself because it's so good. It's so weird because sometimes it's really hard to let go of the art because it's your baby. Like even minting it online, it's your baby. It's really hard to let go and put it into the world. But at the same time, like I said, every artwork that I will make is the one that I really wish that I made. And for all of these, when I create something for a client, it's something also that they want, or when I create something for myself, just for creating, there isn't really a theme; it just comes. But now there's a real theme, and I don't know. I really, really, I don't know. I feel like what I had with the ayahuasca, I really feel with these drawings too. I'm guided into creating something because my whole process kind of changed in the last few years with meditating and drawing and writing it down and then draw. And I've really used this process with all of these, which is completely new for doing it in 3 artworks at, I would say 3 consecutive artwork. So I'm just really psyched about what I created and what I'm about to create because I still have to finish the last one.
Javed, thank you so much for your time today. We really, really appreciate it and can't wait to see your works.
And thank you so much for being so welcoming.
Thank you. Have a great day.
Thank you, Javed.
So thank you, Frank. And thank you, Olivia.
Take care. Thank you.